This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 179, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode I speak to Corporal Coma about star signs or zodiac signs, whatever you want to call them. You know, the things, the sign you are from when you're born. Yup, that. Because I have received actually a lot of messages saying, why don't you do an episode about this? So we tried. I mean, I must admit, I don't think we really do it justice. So if you're looking for some detailed information about star signs in English, you're probably in the wrong place. But we do our best, and that's all we can do. So as usual, it's an episode about two idiots talking about something that they don't know. And there is a lot of rock and roll vocabulary that is on the website rockandrollenglish.com/episode 179. I will talk to you all again at the end. In the meantime, happy listening. Corporal Coma, how are you today?
Doing good, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, Corporal Coma. Always fantastic. Even more now that I am talking to you. I must admit, there was a time when I thought, oh, fuck, I'm doing a podcast with Corporal Coma. Now, you're one of the top dogs, Corporal Coma. Top dogs, most important.
I'm your go-to guy.
Absolutely, Corporal Coma. So your go-to guy, the person that you go to when you have trouble. And boy, oh boy, have I got trouble in my life, Corporal Coma. So much trouble. Anyway, how do we usually start the show?
We start with a review.
Oh, yeah, baby. Do you think we have a review?
I'm going to go no.
You are not correct. We do have a review. As I mentioned last week, we are up to our eyeballs in reviews. So up to your eyeballs, you have a lot of them. And this one is from Gosha. iTunes review, which remember are always the best. All reviews are good, but iTunes are that little bit extra special. 5 stars, and it says the best podcast to learn new vocabulary. This is the podcast that will make the worst gloomy Monday great and fun. Proven method. I have been testing it for about 2 years. Always worked. I start my day by downloading a new episode to listen to real friends having real chats to find out what's up in their lives. Listening to solutions and comments they have to their daily struggles, I burst out laughing. This is hands down the best podcast for English learners. Nice rock and roll vocabulary, without doubt, hands down. I tried a few other good podcasts. I still listen to them sometimes, but Rock and Roll English, together with Rock and Roll English Family, is the one that managed to get me into English so much. It has become an important part of my life. What's more, thanks to it, I met wonderful people from different countries whom I even met up with this year. Yes, that's right. Gosha was there for the Rock and Roll English Family meetup, and it was great. Martin, your idea of making the listeners part of your conversation with friends was the best idea anyone can come up with. I always appreciate your energy and humour that you have even on the most hard-working days. Hats off to you, and a big shout out to your friends. It wouldn't be so good without such good friends. Love you all. Fantastic. A shout out even for you there, Corporal Coma.
As part of the collective, it wasn't a specific I love Corporal Coma.
Yeah. There was one bit I missed out. At the end of this amazing, wonderful review, it says hashtag Martin almost 40, which... Yeah.
I mean, she sounds like a big fan. Probably a bigger fan even than your mum.
I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far. So I wouldn't go that far. You know, that would be going a bit too much, a bit too far, because my mum, #1 fan, Corporal Coma. Anyway, thanks again for that review, Gosha. Remember, reviews are welcome, especially on iTunes, but all 5-star reviews are fine. I was going to ask you what we're talking about, but I have already told you. So we are talking about star signs. So first question, Corporal Coma, do you believe in all of this star sign stuff?
Absolutely not. Couldn't believe in it less if I tried.
I'm with you on that. I've actually received a few messages from people saying, "Oh, you should do an episode about star signs." So it's finally here, but you're talking to the wrong two people, I think, because yeah, I'm not really into it. To be honest, I suppose I don't know much about it. So that's what we can find out today. We're going to go through all of the star signs, which I must admit, I don't even know all of them in English. That's how little I know about them. And then maybe see if we have any traits of them. So any traits, any characteristics, maybe to see if we were born in the wrong star sign. We have Aquarius from January the 19th to February the 18th. And apparently they have few inhibitions. So inhibitions is a difficult one to describe. It's more than 2 syllables. How can we describe that one, Corporal Comer?
It's what stops you doing things.
Yeah, very good actually. Because apparently they are free spirits and they are more likely than anyone to take their clothes off, apparently, in a park. So...
Once again, the quality of the website that you've sourced is top drawer.
Yeah, top drawer, the best. I've never seen someone take off their clothes in a park, which is a shame. I've seen it at the beach, though. Nothing better, is there, Corporal Comer, than seeing people topless at a beach.
It is good, but obviously it depends on the person that is topless. If it's a 75-year-old overweight woman, then no, I'm not into that.
Yeah, although saying that, as I was just thinking about this, I was just quickly going through my mind there, thinking, when have I seen naked people in public? As you do. And I remembered I was in London once and there was a bike ride and it was just full of naked people on bikes. And I mean, I must admit, I was looking more at the men and what they were doing with their penis sitting on the saddle. So the saddle is the name of the seat for a bike. It didn't look comfortable. And my friend I was with, who was also with his girlfriend at the time, then just very casually put his sunglasses on, even though it wasn't sunny.
Everyone knows what you're doing there.
Exactly.
That is not covert at all.
Yes, some more rock and roll vocabulary. So covert, like in secret, let's say. So now let's move on to Pisces. I was
going to say quickly, do you remember that time we played snooker and that woman come in and took all her clothes off? So we have been in public and seen someone take their clothes off.
Yeah, that was New Year's Day, I remember, 2002. I remember it very well. We went to play snooker, having a very quiet, relaxed game, and someone shouted, "Boys, come over here, there's a stripper." And that was the first time I saw a stripper, and I think the first time I saw a vagina and breasts, and it was a fantastic day, wasn't it?
Oh, it was awesome. That was my New Year's present.
The best game of snooker I have ever had in my life. Moving on, though, from naked people, let's go to Pisces, which is from February the 18th to March the 20th. And apparently these are the artistic people. It says they are creative AF, which I imagine means as fuck, which means a lot. Are you artistic at all, Corporal Comer? Do you like art galleries?
No, not at all. I like museums. But I suppose that's not really artistic.
I mean, so tell me, what is there to like about museums?
Yeah, it's interesting. You learn stuff.
God, yeah. See, I thought you might say art because now that you wear like sophisticated glasses, you think you're like some kind of culture vulture. So a culture vulture, someone that knows a lot about culture.
I mean, the last time I went to a museum was years ago, so it's not
exactly.
I'm often there, and I live in London where there is a million museums.
Yeah, and most of them are free as well. And you're saying, yeah, I like museums. Haven't been in years, of course. Why would I? Shit, but I really like them. I really like them. So moving on, we have Aries from March the 20th to April the 19th. And it says that many people born in this time have a scar on their forehead. So a scar, so maybe when you cut yourself and it never goes. Look, exactly. This is what I mean. This is why I think it's a load of shit. Because basically, if it says if you're born between this time, you have the same things happen to you as what happened to other people.
My dad and Hillary are both Aries, and neither of them have got a scar on their forehead. So it's been debunked straight away.
Yeah, so debunked. So it's been proven it's not true, basically. So the next one, I actually don't even know how to pronounce this. This is how embarrassing this is. Taurus? What is it, Corporal Coma?
Taurus.
Did not even know that existed. Mainly because it's between April the 19th and May the 20th. And, I don't know if that's an important time of the year, really. That's the time where everyone's getting bored of life, I think.
Yeah, they're waiting for the summer.
Exactly. They're waiting for it. And it says that you are a practical and responsible person. I must admit, I thought this might be you then, Corporal Coma, but because you're very practical and responsible. Speaking of practical, I was having a conversation with students today about when you get dressed in the morning. So you get out the shower, you're naked, which is fine. You're not in a park. And what's the combination do you go for? Like, first of all, I imagine you go for underwear when you get dressed.
Yeah, pants first.
Mm-hmm.
Then a lot of time in just pants. And then everything else basically 5 minutes before I walk out the door.
But what comes next after pants?
Socks.
Oh, see, this is what some of my students said. That's ridiculous. You can't be walking around with pants and socks.
Yeah, and I pull my socks like up as high as they go. Like, so I've got a pair that go like nearly over my knees. It looks like I've got stockings on. Mrs. Corporal kind of goes wild for it.
That is a sexy look of you with your pants on and your socks above your knees. I've still got a pair of your pants at mine, actually. They're the emergency pants that when I've got no clean ones, I wear the ones you gave me or that I stole from yours, whatever.
Yeah, I can imagine you stole them, yeah.
Yeah. The next one is Gemini, which is from May the 20th to June the 20th. And apparently they're the intelligent people that have won more Nobel Prizes. So, there's not a lot to talk about there. Nobel Prizes. Let's talk about people naked in a park. That's more interesting. So the next one is Cancer from June the 20th to July the 22nd. And already the name of that one, you're not starting, on a good foot here, are you? On a good foot, in a good position.
No, you don't want to be this one, really.
No, yeah, absolutely not. And apparently they never throw things away that have sentimental value for them, and they change their wardrobe every 15 years. So I did think I do have something in common with this one, considering that's what I do, but never mind. Now we get into the good stuff, though, which is Leo from the July the 22nd to August the 22nd, and apparently they are creative, passionate, and love buying gifts. So I thought I'd ask you, Corporal Coma, do you like buying gifts? Because this is where you are.
Yeah, I'm a Leo. Do I like... No, not really.
Lee the Leo. That works quite well, doesn't it?
It does.
I didn't know that you were a Leo because I don't pay any attention to star signs. But Lee the Leo, that I like that. We could start using that.
I think it's a lion as well. It's the coolest animal out of them all.
Oh, fuck off. Scorpion is definitely the coolest.
Well, what would win in a fight, lion or scorpion?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, do you like buying gifts, Corporal Coma?
No. And I'm not particularly creative. What was the second one?
Passionate. You're definitely not passionate.
No, this hit and a miss for this.
Yeah. The gifts thing, I was thinking about this. I actually do like buying gifts. But the problem is you need time and money. And they are two things that I don't really have so much of. So yeah. I'm not actually so good at buying them. But after that, we do have, is it Virgo? Virgo, okay. And apparently they are really hardworking, analytical, all of this thing. And they also make great nurses, apparently. And that's also because they practice their nursing skills in romantic relationships. So how about that? That sounds quite kinky, doesn't it? So kinky, like dirty, let's say. Naughty.
So every nurse that was born in, September, is a pervert.
Well, I don't know about pervert. I was thinking, though, I don't know if this is the same in other cultures, because in England, nurses are considered sexy, like in like those sex shops, they sell like women's clothes to dress up as a nurse. I don't think I've ever seen a sexy nurse. I've more seen people that are like, you know, knocking on 60, so knocking on 60, nearly 60, overweight and very miserable. I've never seen, not often you see happy nurses.
No, and I think the nurse's uniform that you would buy in a sex shop doesn't look anything like what a nurse wears in hospital. They're basically just wearing like what looks like pyjamas. And the nurse's uniform from the sex shop is like a tiny little skirt, and they're basically naked.
One of my friends from university, I remember him telling me that his mum was a nurse, and then once his girlfriend thought she would like play a surprise on him, and then just like bought one of these sexy nurse outfits, and when they got into the bedroom and he saw her dressed as a nurse, he was just thinking about his mum.
Yeah, you don't want to be thinking about that.
Because it would be an awkward one, because you don't really want to say, look, my mum's a nurse, can you take that off? But you don't want to be thinking about your mum when you're having sex either, so it's a tough one, isn't it?
Absolutely last thing you want to be thinking about. That's a passion killer right there.
Absolutely. So then we've got Libra. Is it Libra? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Which is September the 22nd to October the 23rd, and which is the sign of beauty, which is also Boom Boom Cannon's one. So that's no surprise. But we're not interested in the good things. We're not interested in intelligent, beautiful people. No one cares, do they? Everyone wants to hear about the bad things.
Yeah.
So then we've got Scorpio. Okay, so October the 23rd to November the 21st. And it says Scorpios are the most passionate of all of the signs. And let me tell you, Corporal Coma, I am a Scorpio, and Mrs. Rock and Roll English is a Scorpio, okay?
Passion galore.
Oh, there is literally fireworks coming out of our bedroom every night. Okay.
It's probably too much passion, I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly. Every night when we get into bed and, you know, I often read my book, and she'll often just be looking at something on her phone. Could not be more passion in there. Could not
Sparks
be more
are
passion.
flying.
Absolutely. It says as well here that Scorpios also have a widow's peak, which is like when your hair doesn't go in a straight line across your head. It starts at the front and almost like an M shape, which is definitely something I have. I just thought I was going bald, but
you are, but
it's just a widow's peak, mate. Just a widow's peak. So next on the list we have Sagittarius, which is November the 21st to December the 22nd. And apparently these are the most adventurous of all. Okay, so apparently if you go out for a drink with them, prepare yourself for a real hangover. And speaking of hangovers, I thought something to talk about here. Big news, Corporal Coma is not drinking anymore. Is this right? I heard this from my mum. She told me, do you know Corporal Coma stopped drinking? I said, no way, impossible. But from what I understand, it's right.
Just having a little bit of time off, giving the old liver a bit of a rest. Yeah.
Well, I thought about this. So when we were talking about when you went to the rugby and you got a table at 8:45 in the morning or whatever, what time did you stop drinking that day?
I don't know, probably maybe 10 or 11 at night.
So, you know, just 14 hours. Basically, the whole time you were conscious. So if you weren't sleeping, you were drinking.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I kind of evaluated that and thought maybe it's time to stop doing that for a little while.
And so I hear you went out the other day drinking non-alcoholic beers. Is that right?
Yep, I did. It's really depressing because everyone's slowly getting drunk and laughing and having a great time, and I just left at about 8:30 and went home.
The thing is about non-alcoholic beer as well. I mean, I've never bought one, but I imagine it costs the same as a normal beer, no?
It's just less. It's about £4.50 in England, and a normal beer would be about £5.
£4.50 for a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, it's but it kind of tricks you into thinking you're part of the group, but you're not. They're all looking at you thinking you're a wanker.
Oh, this is gold, absolute gold. Just to feel like you're drinking, you're paying £4.50 because it looks like a beer.
Yeah, it tastes like a beer.
Honestly, if I wasn't drinking, I would be drinking tap water. Believe me. Because
yeah, absolutely, I know that. You don't need to tell me that.
Tap water. Just give me to go. I would say, "Can I have a water, please?" They would go to get a bottle, not the bottled stuff.
Leave it. Put it back.
Go and put that back. Get me the stuff from the tap. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. So we do need to finish though on Capricorn, which is December the 21st to January the 19th, and apparently they always look young. And I've already noticed you've not been drinking for like 2 weeks, and already you look 10 years younger, Corporal Coma.
Yeah, my face isn't quite as bloated as it was before. My belly isn't quite as shockingly round as it was before.
So bloated means sort of like blown up, and certainly looking less red in the face. It's amazing, isn't it, that if you don't drink alcohol for 14 hours a day, that it can actually have an effect on your health. It's crazy.
I can remember what happened the day before. I'm actually doing work. It's crazy.
I actually remember talking to you. I'm talking like this was a long time ago. This was probably about a month ago. And telling you what I do at the weekend, I go out, do things, and you just couldn't comprehend the fact that I wasn't drinking all day.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't you're using just 2 weekends when the rugby was on that I was drinking at 8:45. It wasn't like I was every Saturday drinking at 8:45.
Well, like 12 or 1?
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
Just the 10 hours then, just the 10 hours. Anyway, it has been a pleasure talking to you about something that neither of us are interested in the slightest, Corporal Coma.
Yeah, I think we've done it justice.
Absolutely. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time. I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Okay, catch you in a bit.
See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Corporal Coma and I speaking about zodiac signs, star signs, whatever you want to call it. So let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. I said to Corporal Coma that he is now top dog. So if you're top dog, you're number 1. And he said that he is my go-to guy. So when you're in trouble, you need to go to someone. I go to Corporal Coma, obviously, apparently, because he is my go-to guy. We had up to our eyeballs in reviews. We had that last week, didn't we? So that means you have a lot of something, so much of that thing that it comes up to your eyeballs. Then Corporal Coma said that Gosha, who wrote the review, is a bigger fan than my mum. And I said, I wouldn't go that far. So there's just a lovely term to say, let's not exaggerate. Okay, because my mum is the number 1 fan of rock and roll English. I then said that we would look at the different star signs and see if we had any of these traits. So a trait is like a thing of your personality, let's say. If you are a miserable person, maybe like me, that is a trait of yours. It's a thing of your personality, a trait. We had the term inhibitions as well when we said that people that are Aquarius have few inhibitions than anyone else. So inhibitions are things that stop you doing things, as Corporal Coma said. It's something that makes you feel self-conscious, let's say. But if you have no inhibitions, you can take your clothes off in a park, no problem. Corporal Coma then described the website I got the information from as Top Drawer. So Top Drawer, number 1. Then we had the word for a seat when you ride a bike is called a saddle. Also on a horse. If you ride a horse, you ride a bike. What do you sit on? A saddle, baby. We had the word kinky as well. So kinky is something that's connected to sex, let's say. Something unusual. So if you just have normal sex, that's not really very kinky. But if you do all of these strange things, maybe like the Hellraiser, then you can be described as a kinky person. And then we were talking about nurses that you find in hospitals that are knocking on 60. So they are approaching 60. Let's say they are knocking on the door of 60, like that. Then we had the term a widow's peak. I don't know why it's got that name, but a widow's peak is someone like me that doesn't have hair moving from one side of their head to the other in a straight line. It has like an M shape. Then that is called a widow's peak. And Corporal Coma said that his face is no longer bloated. So when your face is bloated, it's pumped up, let's say. Also, your stomach, if you drink a lot of beer, often you can feel bloated because your stomach feels very pumped up. And remember, all of this rock and roll vocabulary is on the website rockandrollenglish.com/episode 179. I will see you all again next week, people. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.